What is up, guys? It is that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're gonna be looking at Island Raid in G1. Here's a little overview of the map. We're looking around. It's just kind of the start of Island. I'll kind of go through all the details, or a lot of the details here. I will say right off the bat, HMB built in a way. I mean, I saw this coming, but I didn't expect it to actually happen. And I think this build was honestly perfectly played out, not only in just the way that they kind of maximized how the river would protect their builds. They also just, built in a really good way that they connected to ruins before we could build in a way that would cut them off. Because I think if they went around the route where they would go for the village first and then they would go to ruins, they would obviously not be able to make it to ruins. And the thing is, the vast difference with how they built and how they maybe would have built otherwise is that, if we maybe got to ruins before they did, if we surrounded ruins before they did, we wouldn't have had to go in the offensive. And I do think that going in the offensive is definitely disadvantageous, especially given the circumstances. I'm gonna kind of explain how it was even worse. Also, you see Red Bull here getting swarmed. I don't know why, but I've heard like this common mistake made among people, and I kind of wanted to clear that up. When you click on a base, like let's say they're getting rallied or they're getting swarmed, I think I've seen this a lot, right? You'll click on the base, and when the little profile pops up, you see right there, right? It showed 170 million. That is at least this is what I'm pretty sure is the case, is so when you're in battle, you have a lot of lightly wounded, right? So you can assume that Red Bull had a lot of lightly wounded, and those lightly wounded are kind of showing on his wall. So, what it's showing on his wall, what his might right there, for example, 150 million, that's what his troop combat is down to in his base currently. But when his wall replenishes, you'll understand that his might's maybe 190, 200 million, right? And I kind of wanted to just clear that up because I think I've heard a lot of misunderstandings about how that stuff works. When you kind of actually have to click directly on the profile, you'll see like when I click directly on the base, it shows a smaller might than when you click on the profile. Like I think that some people just get that confused. Also, these swarms were absolutely insane. I think Red Bull dropped 20 million might from deads or something. But still, I don't imagine these swarms were trading positive, right? Like at least the ones I saw. I do know that like after a certain amount of time, some of the reports are cut out. So it is possible I missed some. But dude, this was disgusting. The trades here just but still kind of crazy, dude. Like being able to commit a swarm like this, I sure wouldn't hop in on a swarm like this. I think some people who weren't capable of trading really well, I think like only the insane whales, with like nearly max gear should be going, because you see right here, right? You see this fat guy right here. He's kind of hitting, and his trades are just not worth it, right? Like you really need max gear players plus those like 50% expansions kind of hitting this guy. And even then, it's just really painful to kind of help commit swarms like these. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Given the situation, though, I'm going to go back to what I was saying. I think that if HMB hadn't built to ruins first, obviously they would have to go in the offensive to kind of break through to ruins. And the thing is, I think like in theory, it's, obviously smart of us to go in the offensive, but it's really hard. Not only are HMB just very powerful with like their overall garrison captains and stuff, they do just have a really massive force of T6 players, and they can be more flexible in their territory, especially with this mass deployment thing. So you'll see this in a lot of cases, and I feel like HMB used well over 1,000 reports. Like I don't know, man. Like they were reporting like crazy, but they would have these whales porting in groups, kind of swarming down rallies, swarming down the field, and it's kind of hard to maintain field control with these guys with limitless pockets who are able to just kind of melt you off the field really quickly. And it's kind of a waste to kind of try to maintain field control because you just get flooded and you just take really bad trades, and it's really hard going into this. And I think honestly, in our situation, I think that it would have been, I personally, I kind of thought coming in that we were going to have a really big struggle breaking these guys and like kind of cutting them off. And even if we did, we would have to pay the price for that. And we did fail to cut them off, right? But we did still pay a really big price of deaths and stuff. And I think in a lot of cases, the trades we took were just really painful. And we were kind of spread thin and put in a really uncomfortable situation at the end of the day. So I don't think we were kind of placed into, a very favorable spot considering like all the circumstances. And I think honestly, we should have just played defensive. We should have just refused to go in the offensive here because honestly, like I said, we just weren't in such a favorable position. But I think it also still played in our favor, because if we did that, they might have just been able to put limitless pressure on one or the other team, and they would be able to focus the other team on runes. Whereas us splitting and putting pressure on them the first like day or two probably did drain quite a few of them, drain them of ports, drain them of resources, and made them unwilling to kind of go for a full-fledged siege and waste all their energy to burn out one team just to have the other kind of maybe take over ruins the day, on the last day. But I don't know, man. This fight was very ferocious, and DHX kind of gets put in this tough situation where they get stuck here and kind of locked in on the mountain area, and they're not able to connect to like a lot of towers. And that was really well played by H&B, kind of limiting how many towers DHX were able to connect to. And I mean, dude, this was just a really well played battle. And it was insane, man. Even the field fights here, these were like really long field fights. I had to cut out a lot of footage because I feel like, and not just in this video, I cut out a lot of footage in a lot of videos that I just didn't record because I felt like there were like hours of field fighting, and I didn't want to just have sped up hours of field fighting, though I still wanted to have a portion of it just so you guys could kind of get the gist of it. Also, we kind of came up here to try to support these guys, but the refresh times on our marches and just how many T6 players are able to like blitz us, we were not trading well. We were not able to kind of make much of a difference on the field, but you did have some people kind of disturbing their swarms, and it did help to an extent at DHX kind of settling down and clearing their field presence. So our sacrifice was worth it in their eyes, right? But yeah, overall, this situation was rough. Even here, you see in the corner where DHX is at, they're kind of cut off by a river on that one tower that if they want to blitz it, they kind of have to go through the little, bridgeway, and it's just a really bad situation. I do think that DHX could have put more pressure there, even if like H&B were to constantly port up and try to defend the tower. I think that H&B kind of gave up defending that tower pretty constantly, or at least they gave up presence around the tower, which would have made it, very possible for people to just go up there, put some pressure, force some people to port up. But I mean, also considering the fact that these guys used potentially 1,000 to thousands of ports, these guys probably were not struggling in that field, right? I think I had like that mindset of let's drain these guys as much as possible, when draining them is nearly impossible. But I mean, you always got to give it a try, right? But yeah, this overall battle was just kind of bloody, and I mean, I think it was just a stalemate at some point. I think we kind of understood after going in the offensive for so long, yeah, we're not breaking this, especially after we got cut off. We just decided to go in the defensive because we ended up getting cut off on their flank area, and we kind of get pushed into this area on the mountain. And I think it would have been possible to go all the way around the mountain, right, on our side, but it would have just been really inconvenient and probably not worth the effort that we would have had to go through. So it was just decided that I guess we would kind of go in the defensive, and we would wait until ruins opened up because, at this point, it wasn't worth going in the defensive. We probably would have lost too much. And not only that, we're just trading really bad, going into their territory, fighting all these whales. Just the overwhelming pressure is absolutely insane, man. And I gotta give props to H&B because they just have too many mega whales now, Even if you want to 2v1 them, the issue is what they would do is they would have like a force of players, they'll have their garrison captains, and they'll have players, manning the towers who aren't necessary for the field. But then you just have so many whales who, for example, Jazz, Pickle, Envy, Hands, Poppy, etc., right? And those type of guys, you could kind of put them on the scale of like Samuel's strength level. Even if they can't fight as long as someone like Samuel, I'm not really, sure. I'm not going to debate that. But, the thing is, these guys are kind of able to put up a lot of strength, presence. Whereas even if I'm on the field, right, trying to help support this, you need 2 or 3 of me to kind of hold down these whales or kind of trade pretty well against them. And that's the real big disparity here, right? We're not able to kind of put up this presence. And I actually was trying to limit myself to how much field support I was doing here because I knew that if I helped too much, I would have drained out too fast. And I knew that they were getting blitzed on the field really fast. It was just an overwhelming situation, right? Trying to go into a sieging area here. But yeah, that is it to the video. I did talk a bit. I do hope you guys enjoyed. I will be kind of continuing this in my next video and talking about us going on the flank siege and all that. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys though, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I kind of just kept you guys a little bit entertained. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. And that is it to the video. Peace out.